AskReddit by individual thought 92. What's something both Democrats and Republicans can agree on? Fuck Ticketmaster. And never-ending license subscriptions for features and products goods you have already paid for. Do what your donors require, not what your constituents need. All studies prove it. They vote in line with donors 90% of the time and their constituents 10% of the time. Their donors are the same people. They donate to both parties. Being hoodwinked. The solution isn't to not vote, it's to defeat the grift by us going full blue. They got better numbers, and then saying, okay, you can pass all that shit now. So what's your new excuse? That's the best plan I have, that will never happen. Switching the clocks twice a year is stupid as shit. But when will it be voted into law to remove this? That war is profitable. The 34th rule of acquisition. Most voters are stupid and will eat any crap we tell them up. Even worse nowadays with siloed news consumption. For example, economic sentiment is closely tied to political leanings. Voter perception of the truth is more important than the reality we live in. Perception is reality. Government work is a sweet gig. The absurdly large defense budget that somehow is higher now than when we had two simultaneous wars. People are more lenient to a proxy war since we're not actually there. It sucks when your socks get wet. I saw somebody say they enjoy that and I don't know what's real anymore. That the same 10 questions get rotated on our AskReddit every month. It's to farm submission karma so they can resell the account and or use it for paid ads. The other side is wrong. Well, I'm on the other side and you're obviously wrong about that. That poor people should keep arguing with poor people while leaving financial decisions to them. Also, if you're not sure what to be upset about, they'll tell ya. Pitting the population against each other on minor issues is great for allowing them to maintain things they really care about that gets them money. They being politicians. Minor being minor to them. Like, do you think rich politicians care about whether or not someone has an abortion? That's why they'll fly out of the country to get things like that done if they need to, if it does get banned. But people arguing over that distracts from how much money they get in bribes from, say, the pharmaceuticals industry. Not putting term limits for themselves. Sorry to be that guy, but this is a bit of a miss. Republicans in Congress term limit their leadership positions while Democrats do not. They do it to keep the committee leadership from getting too corrupt and depending on campaign funding from the sector that their committee oversees. You will see Democrats who have had committee seniority for many years and enjoy deep connections to industry and get personally rich. As far as actual term limits, you'd need massive public buy-in to pass a constitutional amendment. And there are good reasons to be opposed to term limits. For one thing, if you're constantly cycling new members, institutional knowledge is lost such that congressional staffers, lobbyists, and bureaucrats have the knowledge and experience to walk all over Congress and control the legislative process to an even greater degree than they do now. As a former congressional staffer, I saw this phenomenon play out firsthand. The people who represent them in government are shitbags. Those people are a threat to the country. The hallmark of authoritarianism is that there are in-groups that must be protected but not bound, and out-groups that must be bound but not protected. Out-groups function as scapegoats as well. The US really only has one party. Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself. They disagree on who killed him, however. I'll change the pace here and not be so cynical. I think we could start with agreeing on term limits across all positions of government, and no more lifetime appointments. I think we could agree on more once we realize we're not actually different species. When you're talking about voters, sure. When you're talking about representatives, absolutely not. And they are the ones who can actually change things, so realistically they agree on the opposite. That they both don't give a rat's ass about the general population. Dolly Parton is awesome. This is small one, but headlights have become too damn bright. The defense budget apparently. That everything is the other party's fault. If we make them focus on left vs right, they won't notice all the money going to the top 1%. Robbing the rest of us.